All right, so here we have our fluency for lesson 16. If you look at our equation, it says that y is equal to 4x. Now, for me to be able to fill in these missing values, I need to know something about that. What does that 4 mean in this equation? Constant proportionality. So that means that if I go from the x to the y, I multiply by 4, right? Yes. Which means if I got to go from y to x, I'm going to do what? I'm going to divide. So I'm right here, I'm going from y to x. That means I need to do 20 divided by 4, and that missing number is going to be 5. I'm going to go 16 divided by 4, and that missing number is going to be 4. Perfect. So there's those missing numbers. All right, so the next one I have a constant proportionality of 1/5. So going from x to y, I'm going to be multiplying times 1/5. Right here, I'm going from y to x. I'm going to divide by 1/5. And then here I'm going from x to y, so I'm going to multiply by 1/5. Okay? Anybody did 5 times 1/5? 5 times 1/5. What did you get? 1. A 1. Yes, 5 times 1/5 is equal to 1. 1 is that missing number. What is 4 divided by 1/5? You can work it out. 4 divided by 1/5. How do I make the 4 become a fraction? Put a 1 under it. Can I do multiplicative inverse now? Yeah. So 4 over 1 stays the same, times, and then 1/5 becomes 5 over 1. What that's going to be equal to? 8 over 1? 20 over 1. 4 times 5 is 20. 1 times 1 is 1. So 20 over 1 is equal to the number? 20. So there's our other missing number. Okay? And then the last one we need to do is 12 times 1/5 because we're missing the y. So I'm going to put a 1 under the 12. And then we just multiply. 12 times 1 is 12. 1 times 5 is 5. And I could put 12/5, but I don't know what 12/5 is. So I'm going to do 12 divided by 5. 5 goes into 12 2 times. It's going to give me the number 10 here. So just like Julia just said, it is 2 2/5. So there's our missing numbers for that table. What's our constant proportionality for number 3? 1.5. So I'm going to do 4 times 1.5 to get this number. 3 times 1.5 to get this number. And then 15 divided by 1.5 to get this number. Okay? Anybody do any of these problems yet? Yeah? What is 4 times 1.5? 6. 6 is the correct answer. What is 3 times 1.5? 4.5. And then the last one, what is 15 divided by 1.5? 10. Perfect. Every last one of those are correct. So those are our missing numbers. All right, so for number 1, they gave us triangle ABC and triangle DEF. Triangle ABC was our original, so it goes first in our table. So that one is going to be our X. And then they gave us triangle DEF and said that that was the scale drawing. So that means that that is going to be our Y in our table. And then it tells us to find the scale factor. And scale factor is a new word that we talked about yesterday. And y'all said the scale factor is also the constant of proportionality. Right. So we need to figure out what's the constant of proportionality. We know this table is already proportional because the book, if it's a scale drawing, that means it's proportional. We learned that yesterday too. So to find the constant, y'all said y'all used that last row. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing. The constant of proportionality is equal to y divided by x. So if I take that y, that's going to be 3 1/2 divided by 7. Now, I can't do a division problem with fractions like this. So I'm going to go ahead and change this up. I'm going to do 3 1/2 divided by 7. Still can't use those numbers the way they sit, so I'm going to do 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 plus 1 is 7. So that's going to be 7/2 divided by 7 over 1. Now I got two fractions and I got division, so we can use multiplicative inverse. So 7 divided by 2, or 7 over 2, times 1 over 7. So 7 times 1 is 7, and 2 times 7 is going to give us 14. We can simplify this, divide both of these by 7, and that's going to give us 1/2. So the scale factor, let's answer this little question that they got down here. The scale factor is 1/2. And if we talk about a relationship here, they ask us what that scale factor really means. It means that triangle DEF is exactly 1/2 the size of triangle ABC, right? Okay, so the length is 1/2. The base of the triangle is exactly 1/2 the other one. The height is exactly 1/2 the other one. That even means that the area is 1/2 the size of the other one, because those are proportional. They're the same picture, but it's 1/2 the exact size. All right, so today we're going to be creating our own scale drawings. So if we're looking at classwork number 2, it says create a scale drawing of the geometric figure by using a scale factor of 2/3. So we're going to use this table to record the side lengths of the figure. Look at the figure. Which lengths can we record? What length do you think that we can record from this figure? The bottom. Okay, so the bottom of the triangle we can record. All right, so let's go ahead and figure out how long this is. So if I go from the bottom, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 tick marks. Everybody agree with that? Yes. All right, so that is 12 tick marks. And I'm gonna try and do these in different colors so that we can figure this all out and keep it kind of straight. What else can I record here? The top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anything else you think that I can do? The height. Yeah, but if we do the height, I need to be able to draw a straight line, right? So we all need straight edges or rulers. Okay, straight edges just mean that you just a straight edge. So let's go ahead and get some rulers together, and we're gonna go ahead and draw our heights. All right, so go ahead and take your ruler, and we're gonna go ahead and draw some heights. So the first one I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the large triangle, since we did the large triangle base first in purple. So from the top corner of the triangle down to the base, go ahead and draw your height right here. We're going to go ahead and count how long that height is. So starting from the top, I'm going to go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the height of the large triangle is 9. Then we're going to go ahead and draw the height of the small triangle. So it's going to be right here. And I'm going to go ahead and count that one as well. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, yep. So now we need that constant. What is that constant proportionality again? Or that scale factor? 2/3. So what am I going to do to the 12 to be able to get the other number? I'm going to multiply it because I'm going from left to right, right? All right, so we're going to do 12 times 2/3. So 12 times 2/3. Put a 1 under the 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 1 times 3 is 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. All right, so that one is going to be an 8. So when I redraw this, I'm going to start with the large triangle, and I'm going to draw a base that is exactly 8 units long. Okay? And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for all the rest of these. It's a scale drawing, so they're all proportional. They all have the same constant proportionality. So now we're going to go ahead and do 6 times 2/3. All right. So that's equal to 4. And then we're going to go ahead and do 9 times 2/3. And that one's equal to 6. And then the last one we'll do 3 times 2/3. And that gives us 2. All right. This is, well, We just made our new bases. We just made our new heights. Now we have to draw it. We're going to draw it out and actually make that scale drawing.
So on the test, we gonna have you gonna tell us
On the-
graph factor.
On a test, I'm gonna do it exactly like this. I'm gonna give you a picture. You got to figure out what the measurements are, like by counting the grid marks. Because I don't do rulers. You're not gonna have to measure anything with a ruler, but you're gonna have to count it out, put it in a table to keep it, organized. Figure out do your scale factor that I'm gonna give you, and then you make the new drawing. Yeah. Okay. So on our table right here, we see that the large triangle has a base of 8. So what I like to do first is I like to just kind of like mark it out first and then draw my lines, because it's kind of hard to put your ruler down there, make a straight line, and sit there and count the tick marks all at the same time. So if I start my new triangle, I'm gonna start it right here. I'm gonna go ahead and count out 8. So not including where my dot is. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's gonna be right here. So now that I did my 2 little dots right there, I can go ahead and use my ruler and connect those 2. There is the base of my new scale drawing. So to finish this triangle, now I need to see how high it's going to be, right? So I need to be able to connect it. So I'm going to go dead smack in the middle of this triangle. The middle of this triangle is sitting right here. Everybody agree with that? Yes. Okay. And the height of my large triangle, because my large triangle is at the bottom, is a 6. So I'm going to go ahead and count up from 6 from right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's how tall my triangle is going to be right here. So then I go ahead and just connect my 2 slanted sides of my triangle. And I'm going to erase these little dots right here. Okay. So this triangle that I just drew for my scale drawing is 2/3 the size of the original. Okay. All right. So now then do the next triangle. You can see the other triangle is upside down. So I'm going to kind of need to have to do my height first. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the height. The height of the small triangle is only 2. So starting at the peak of this triangle, I'm going to go ahead and count 2. 1, 2. This is where the bottom of my triangle is going to be right here. Okay. And then, so that's going to be the middle of where my triangle is. And the base of that triangle is 4. So I need to make this line be 4. So if I start right here, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, which keeps my height in the middle. Everybody understand that? How I did that? So here's my base of 4. Huh? And then I go ahead and connect my triangle. So there's my scale drawing of my 2 triangles touching each other. That is 2/3 the size of the original. Any questions? No questions? Everybody's good? Okay. All right, so we just talked about on our last one, the way that we could check to make sure that our drawing looked right was because our scale factor was 2/3. We know if our scale factor is less than 1, that makes a what?
A reduction.
A reduction. So if its scale factor is less than 1, we have a reduction. So if on our last drawing, if we had an enlargement with a scale factor of 2/3, we know we messed up somewhere, right?
Yep.
So let's take a look at classwork number 3 now. A scale drawing of the triangle shown must be produced by using a scale factor of 1.5. Do you think if I had to draw this, it would be an enlargement or a reduction?
A reduction.
A reduction at 1.5? An enlargement because it's bigger than 1, right? So we would create a triangle bigger than this. But I don't think we have to do that because it says here, determine the corresponding measurements of the scale drawing and record them in the table. All measurements are in centimeters. So I need you to take that scale factor and find out what are the new measurements of our scale drawing triangle. So take a couple of minutes and figure out what these new numbers are. All right, so now go ahead and pause this video and let that 7A class figure out what the new measurements on the scale drawing is if the scale factor is 1.5. And now we're back with 7B, filling in the rest of this drawing here. So if we have a scale factor of 1.5, we need to take all of these x's, and because we're going from left to right, we're going to multiply the x's times 1.5 to get our new y's over here for our new scale drawing. So class, what is 1.5 times 1.5? 1.5 times 1.5 is 1.5? I don't think so. 2.25. So 1.5 times 1.5 is 2.25. The next one, which is the really long, the long side on the left-hand side of the triangle, we got 4.2 times our scale factor of 1.5. So what is 4.2 times 1.5? 6.3 or 6.30, right? Yeah, because we're going to have two numbers behind the decimal in our answer because we had it in our problem. And then the last one, 5.1 times 1.5 gives us an answer of 7.65. All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look at classwork number 4. Classwork number 4 gives us a picture that looks a lot like our exit ticket from yesterday, right? Had two sets of mountains right here. So number 4's problem says Henry's teacher tells him that figure B is a scale drawing of figure A. She asks him what scale factor relates figure B to figure A, and he responds that the scale factor is 2. Is Henry correct? And then I need you to be able to explain your answer. So we're going to go ahead and pause our video right here, and I'm going to let you do that work to figure out, is Henry right or is Henry wrong?
Correct.
All right, so now that we had some time to figure out if Henry's right or wrong, raise your hand if you think that Henry is correct, that the scale factor is 2. So right here in 7B, we've got one hand raised, and then you Sean looked back and saw that somebody had their hand raised, so he raised his hand too. Raise your hand if you do not agree with Henry's scale factor. So Caden said he agreed with him first, but now that everybody else has raised his hand, now he disagrees and says the boy wrong. So everybody else said it's wrong, right? Yeah. All right, so let's take a look and see. The first number I'm going to put from the original figure is the number 2. What number for the scale drawing goes with the number 2? 3. All right. Good job, because we can't switch it up. If we're talking about the left-hand side of the picture, it has to go with the same side that it represents. We can't draw a 6 right there because that's going to mess everything up. So then if I draw the number 4 on my table, the number 6 goes here. Now I can use any of these numbers that I want to go ahead and figure out what my constant proportionality is. Here's my x, because it comes first in the table, and it's the original, so it comes first. So here's my y. So to find my constant proportionality, aka my scale factor, right? We do y over x. So whatever number you choose, if you want to do 2 and 3, 4 and 6, it doesn't really matter. You can get the same number. So my y is 3, and my x is 2. And when I do 3 divided by 2, I get a scale factor of 1.5. So he was close, but he was not correct. It is not a scale factor of 2. It is a scale factor of 1.5. Okay? So that finishes up our lesson. We're going to go ahead and do stations next. So up on the board, I'm going to have written down for a small group. Small group, I need you to do on practice number 1 all the way to number 5. Okay, very simple stuff. It's on page 217 starting off. So on page 217, number 1 through 5 in small group. And then whenever you come to me, or if you're in 7A, Miss Lucy's group, we're going to be doing number 6 and 7, where we're going to be creating our own scale drawings again of some very simple, just squares or rectangles. And if we got time, we'll go ahead and do the sailboat on number 8. If we don't have time to do the sailboat on number 8, we'll use number 8 as homework. Okay? So let's go ahead and start our stations now.